United States failure in these areas, I think, speaks to the fact that this is not just a local issue, but it's also an international one. So I hope that my colleagues understand that that is in part why we are bringing attention to it. And I'd like to thank the gentlelady from Wisconsin for recognizing the fact that many members have proposed legislation well before the Michael Brown case. Mr. Conyers, the ranking member of the Judicial Committee, called for the end of Racial Profiling Act. Representative Hank Johnson's legislation to call for greater accountability and a fundamental review of the militarization of our local law enforcement agencies. And I am honored to be one of the sponsors for the Universal Respect Act to have a review and meaningful change, again, of our local law enforcement so that their practices meet the intent of our laws. I'd like to now yield to my good friend and a fellow freshman member. He's actually a redshirt freshman because he came in a little earlier than the rest of us, but he has a dynamic leader come to this Congress with the commitment to serve his constituents from the great state of New Jersey. Let me yield now time to my friend, Representative Donald Payne.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and let me just say thank you to my colleague, the gentleman from Nevada, and also the gentleman from New York, Mr. Jeffries, who have demonstrated true leadership in this freshman class and having shown and demonstrated time and time again during these special orders of their commitment to this nation. Mr. Speaker, the people of Ferguson, Missouri, and the people across this nation have suffered a tremendous blow with the circumstances surrounding Michael Brown's death. Not only did we lose a young man, we as a nation were once again reminded, although we have come so far, we still have a long way to go. We are trying to achieve equality and fairness under the law, regardless of race, religion, or sexual orientation. Now is the time for all of us to reflect on what's happened and to find a way to come together going forward. We lost a young man, Michael Brown, in a heartbreaking and tragic circumstance. He was only 18 years old. His family will never be able to hold or talk to him ever again. And when something like this happens, local authorities, including the police, have a responsibility to be open and transparent about how they are investigating the death and how they are protecting the people in our communities. The people of Ferguson and the people of this nation deserve a transparent and thorough investigation. We deserve the truth, and we deserve justice. I'm very pleased that the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division has stepped in and has launched a thorough investigation into the circumstances that led to Michael Brown's death. I want to commend President Obama and also Mr. Holder for their involvement and their commitment on seeing justice brought in this situation. And this issue around racial profiling, a young man that was walking in the street with a friend and is told to get on the sidewalk, and just a little bit later lie dead in the street. Started out with him being told to get on the sidewalk, and he loses his life. It's unconscionable. It's not understandable. And it's unjust. And this is a situation that young African American men have had to deal with for centuries. It is a situation that we all find ourselves in, whether we are young men in Ferguson, Missouri, or Newark, New Jersey, or New York City, or Las Vegas, Nevada. We all have one common thread, and that is when you come across a police officer in certain circumstances, there is a manner in which you should conduct yourself to make sure you can get home alive that night. And I've been on that side of it, Mr. Speaker, on far too many occasions to count. But one of the occasions that I remember so well, I was about 19 or 20, working for a company, and had to go downtown in my hometown of Newark, New Jersey, to pay a bill at a department store. I was pulled over by the police. I admit I had made a driving infraction, and I was pulled over by the police. Using my cousin's car, when the officer asked me for my identification, a little nervous, I kind of scrambled and I didn't know where the registration of the vehicle was right away. And this police officer decided to tell me that if I did not find that license and registration quick enough, he would throw me so far under the jail they would never find me. Now you can imagine the fright and panic that would put in a young person. But I got my license, still looking for the registration, and I handed it to him, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, because my family was well known in that town and my father was a sitting council person in that municipality at the time, all of a sudden the police officer's demeanor changed. Because all of a sudden I was someone now. Why did it take me to be related to a council member in that town to be someone? No more than 2 minutes prior to that, I would be thrown so far under the jail that they would never find me. Now it was, well, don't you understand? You need to be careful. You could get hurt, or you could hurt someone. All of a sudden now, there is some concern for me. What changed it, Mr. Speaker? What changed it? But what concerns me is the countless thousands and hundred thousands of African American men that can't pull that license out and become someone. Those are the people that I'm concerned about, that wrestle with this issue every single day. That's why I'm proud to say that my uncle, the former Assemblyman William Payne, is the author of the racial profiling bill in the state of New Jersey that stands now. Because this is an issue, has been an issue, and obviously based on what has happened in Ferguson, Missouri, still is an issue. So we will continue to speak out, as we have done, in our homes, in Ferguson, and on this floor, because we need the United States of America to live up to its creed. And with that, sir, I will yield back. I just have one last thing to say, and it is something that just came to me in these